It's the anniversary of Cesar Chavez's death. Now, I ran into his son, Paul Chavez, and we started talking about my movie, Killing Chavez, and I explained to him that we had no money when we made it, but we had a lot of passion and a lot of interest in telling the story of the plot to kill Chavez here in Calexico. Now, he has seen my movie already, and he was very gracious to give me his comments. But for some of you who may not have seen it or know about it, back in 1971, there was a plot to kill Chavez in Calexico. Now, I know what you're thinking, that sounds too fantastic. Well, that's what I thought so too. So I started researching, and I found the story buried deep in the FBI files. Yeah, that's what I thought, but there it is. So I wanted to tell people that story, but we didn't have any money and we didn't have any expensive equipment. But with the help of the Hidalgo Society of Brawley and a bunch of my friends and some local actors and non-actors, we pulled it off and we put together a movie called Killing Chavez. And so Paul Chavez saw that movie, and this is what he said.
You don't mind if I sit here with you for a while, do you?
You know, the thing that struck me the most is how kindness and goodness triumphs over evil and bad. You know, and you had the different characters that had the different depictions, right? And the people whose motives were not good motives, and that how if you speak the truth, that it can be more powerful than violence and hate. And so that was the one thing that really impressed me, is that that dealing with the toughest of these toughs, right? And poco a poquito, right? His heart was changed. And I think that if you look at the history of the farm worker movement in my dad's life, that's what he did. He spoke to people's he spoke to their hearts, and they responded in kind. So that was the big takeaway from Killing Chavez. I remember when because there were multiple threats, and I remember in the early 70s there was a threat, and they were urging him to not sleep in the same place 2 nights in a row, and they wanted to give him a big security team with bodyguards, and for a little bit he granted people's requests, and he did that. But after a while he says, this is no way to live, and he talked about that I have an important job to do, and I'm not going to let anybody deter me from that. If they think that by threatening me that I'm going to back down, they're wrong. And so what he did was he went back out and he says, if that's God's will, then so be it. And he went and did his work. What's important to us is that the spirit and the heart of a person is captured. And I think that was done really well. My father, many times, it's amazing how many times I've talked to people and they say, I was so surprised when I met your father for the first time, because I was expecting this man 6'2" with a booming, eloquent voice and that would pound the tables. And the fact is that in came a small, dark man with small hands. And when he spoke, he didn't use big words, and he spoke in a low voice. But when he spoke about that shared vision for the future that we all have. And I think that what happened was that when he spoke, people looked at him and they said, he reminds me of my father. He reminds me of my tío. He reminds me of my grandfather. And then the message became strong. If Cesar Chavez can make a difference, then so can we. And so I think that that was captured pretty well. That he was an ordinary man that was that believed that we all have a contribution to make. What it does in a real artistic way, it really talks about good and evil, and how at the end of the day good triumphs over evil. And I think that you should be applauded for the work, for the no-budget work that you put together, because I think that comes through very powerfully. I recommend that you go out and see Killing Chavez. It's a movie that'll touch your heart and will make us all better people.